As a co-parent, you need to determine what is worth a fight, what is a hill you're willing to die on, and what just really doesn't matter. What is going on, everybody? My name is Mark Real Jr., the Father's Rights Attorney, and you are watching another episode of the Father's Rights Playbook. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about why emotional intelligence wins in post-divorce battles. Now, a lot of times we talk about the laws, we talk about your rights, we talk about your responsibilities when it comes to divorce. Today, I want to dive into the soft skills required to navigate, whether it's going through divorce or even post-divorce, post-child custody, where you're going to be co-parenting. Now, the first thing I always tell everybody is that co-parenting is the hardest job in the world because you are signed up to essentially co-manage a child's life with someone that you do not like. You guys were together and then you chose not to be, and you went through a whole lot of hassle to not be together. And one of the biggest detriments to children that go through this type of separation is the animosity and the constant bickering that occurs when parents divorce or separate. And that's one of the things that you talk to a lot of children of divorce that they hold with them. And as a father, going through something like that can be extremely challenging. It can be an extremely difficult situation. So I got some notes here, so I want to make sure I hit all of my points. Number one that I have is that when your decisions are emotionally charged, you are increasingly likely to make a bad decision. As a co-parent, you need to determine what is worth a fight, what is a hill you're willing to die on, and what just really doesn't matter. So, for example, one of the silly things I'll see a lot of times where guys will come back to us is one of the parents wants to make a minor change to a drop-off point. Maybe you've been dropping off at this parking lot and they ask if you can move it down the street or move it 5 or 10 minutes closer to them. And on its face, with someone you have a strong relationship with and you're rationally thinking, probably not a big deal. But I've seen so many men and women rush into court simply because one parent is demanding a change in the location of drop-off. So I want to get this straight. There is a very clear line between being a pushover and allowing your co-parent to walk all over you and make your life hell, and just using common sense and being someone who is willing to work with the other parent. It's a lot of times your happiness in life after a divorce or separation is determined by how you emotionally regulate. And this is where that emotional intelligence comes in. If something doesn't matter, then it shouldn't be a big deal. It doesn't need to be a fight. If something does matter, that needs to be a hill you're willing to die on, that you're going to go back to court and you're going to litigate. And we see so much time and emotional energy wasted on things that the judges are probably just rolling their eyes at. So when it comes to navigating that situation, you really need to figure out what your cues are to take a step back, take a deep breath, and think about something rationally. Now, I'm not someone, I see co-parents all the time who must be miserable to work with. And everything's a struggle and everything's a battle. So it's definitely, it takes two to tango. But if both parents can emotionally regulate and look out for the child, it's going to be in their best interest. When you don't have this emotional regulation, your children, especially as they get older, start to notice this stuff. And whether you like it or not, if you're a parent who can't emotionally regulate yourself, a lot of times what you'll see as the kids get older is they push away. They want to create distance from that parent who can't emotionally regulate. We see this in situations where maybe when they were younger, they couldn't understand the parental alienation, but they get to 14, 15 years old and they all of a sudden want to go live with the other parent because one parent just cannot emotionally handle themselves. There's no emotional regulation. There's no emotional intelligence. And we see it in more subtle ways, where as kids get older and courts give more freedom, they go towards the parent who provides them the most peace and the most stability, just naturally. Just something to think about as a parent is whether a lot of you, the listeners, you guys are actively going through a custody battle. It's nasty, it's disgusting. No one should ever have to go through it. But as you get to the other side, you need to understand and work with yourself on how you can take those walls down, how you can remove those hardened shells from what could have been years or a decade in family court, and to be an emotionally intelligent, emotionally present parent for your child. So that's all I have today. I hope you guys found this informational, educational, a little bit entertaining, and we'll see you guys again next week on another episode of the Father's Rights Playbook.